Welcome to our next episode of
Fandom
Family
Chats.
This is a production of Family Fan Clubs on Facebook. You can find us all over Facebook. You can find us all over social media under Fandom Family Chats. Look us up, get dialed in, get plugged in, and get ready to listen to some crazy people talk crazy stuff.
Hi everyone, welcome to Fandom Family Chats. I'm Shelby.
I'm Eve.
I'm Tiffany.
And tonight we're talking about 911 and 911 Lone Star. So let's start off with the OG 911. We're on season 5, episode 12. So we started off this week with a flashback of Maddie after having her daughter. She fell asleep while her daughter was in the tub, and unknowingly it turned out to be a medical condition causing all of her issues.
This was a really emotional episode.
It was.
I was so happy to see Maddie again because I am in love with her, but I'm really glad they did it because, postpartum is rarely done on TV, and even when it is, it's rarely done right. And I feel like they did a really good job of it.
Yeah, I felt really bad for her, especially because she was so hard on herself, and it finding out that it was a medical condition that probably could have been solved way sooner than what it was. I don't know, that was just sad to me.
I'm glad that postpartum depression is getting recognized though. Because yeah. It happens way more often than you think. Most people I know that have children have gone through it at some severity or another. Hers was pretty severe with her depression.
Having a kid messes you up. Yeah. I know it's a joyful thing, nothing wrong with it, not coming at anyone who has kids, because I sure don't, but I know it can mess you up for the long haul.
Yeah, you're physically, emotionally, mentally drained after having a baby. So
in every which way a human could possibly be drained.
Yeah.
I will say I was at the edge of my seat, because Chim was literally tiptoeing around her. I was just waiting for them to run into each other.
Mm-hmm.
And every time Maddie would go outside, I'm like, this is it. This is when they're gonna meet up. This is it. This is when they're gonna meet up. And it took so long. It was pretty much the whole episode. It took them to actually finally connect or whatever. But the way that they did connect, I was so glad. I was kind of worried that I know that Chim was saying that he wasn't mad at her and stuff, and that he was just happy that she's safe, blah blah blah, but I was really worried that when they actually saw each other, those feelings would come rushing in and he would be mad. But I think he handled it pretty good.
He did, yeah, because he realized, after seeing her, seeing her daughter for the first time again, just the way she reacted, immediately breaking down because she realized how big she is and how much she actually missed being gone. He never put that into perspective. There we go.
Yeah. And her the suicide attempt in the ocean too, that was really, really dramatic.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the word, but I was just I was surprised that because Maddie always seemed like she was so together. That's not something that I would ever think that she would attempt.
Yeah, the depression can get really bad sometimes.
And it comes when you don't expect it. People who seem to have it all together and they're just doing just great. Internally they're struggling big time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's sad that she went through all that. And
I see why she was scared though. After falling asleep and your child slipping under the water, that would have terrified me too.
Yeah.
That would be hard to bounce back from.
Especially if you already are going through postpartum. Now it's exponentially more terrifying.
She's just gonna have the fear always in her mind that it could happen again. It could be worse next time.
I think for me, like the one thing was, like the hormone therapy. She was going to talk therapy and everything too. But the fact that like all she had to do was kind of take the meds and it seemed like she pretty much got back to normal. I mean, I think it took some time because of how her mental state was, but health wise, I mean, it wasn't that big of a health crisis, if that makes sense.
It was a lot more mental. Um, she was, and she was just scared. She didn't trust herself with her daughter alone, which I get. I mean, I would have been terrified to be alone with my child after that too.
Yeah.
She just wanted to make sure she was right in her mind before going back, I guess.
Yeah. And
I'm
I
glad
guess
she got the help though. I mean, she immediately knew that what she was doing was not the right choice. And she thought about Chim and she thought about her daughter. And she went to the clinic immediately to get help, which are
That's
very,
what I
you don't see that very often, a lot of times. A
that's
lot of times you have to be forced to go.
that's what I loved about this whole thing was that Maddie knew pretty early on that she needed help because they did a postpartum storyline on Nashville. But in that case, the mom, like she didn't get any kind of treatment until things hit rock bottom, essentially. So it was nice to not have to watch Maddie hit rock bottom in order for her to finally get therapy and get the help she needed.
Yeah. And I do think that the emails from Chim with like the videos and stuff was helping to get her through things too. Cause I do think like I felt so bad for her when she finally did reunite with them and like then the guilt kind of set in that she missed so much of the baby's life. But like in reality, like yes, a lot happens in that 6 months or whatever time period it was. But now that Maddie's okay, now she can be there for the long haul for the rest of her life.
Yes, she did miss a lot of milestones, and that's going to sit with her for a little while, but that's not the end of the milestones. She still has, G still has so many more milestones to hit for Maddie to experience. So
What did you guys think about Kira, Maddie's friend?
I didn't trust her at first.
I didn't either.
And then it got to a point where I was like, okay, I can see that she's good for Maddie. This is good. And then her friend relapsed. And I was like, oh, why is she acting like such a word that Maureen will not appreciate? Yeah, I was like, why is she acting so terrible all of a sudden? And then we found out that she relapsed. And I was like, got it.
What I didn't understand though, okay, and maybe this is just my lack of knowledge, but anyway, was she going through the postpartum stuff too? Because like the group that Maddie was in wasn't AA or anything like that. So did she have the mental stuff going on along with the alcoholism stuff?
I was confused about that also because it seemed like her struggles were slightly different. Like she was separated from her son, but because of her addiction issues.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't say her son was like a new baby or anything.
I mean, it was brought up that her, like if she ever wants to see her son again, like she needs to get better or, like that. But so I assumed maybe he was with his dad, but
yeah,
I'm not sure now. I'm not sure what the group was for exactly,
because
she and Maddie had two pretty different mental health issues going on.
It could have just been a women's group, I guess. Yeah, because it was from the women's clinic.
Oh,
so just like a bunch of women like getting together and doing like a group therapy type of thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing.
Oh.
Okay, that makes more sense. I was kind of confused by that because I think because Maddie was actually in an institution for a little bit, wasn't she, or like in a hospital or something? when
I
she
don't
was
know what
actually
it
doing her
was.
treatments.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it was. It was some sort of clinic, an inpatient clinic.
Because then she met Kira outside, like once she was outpatiented.
Yeah, once she was released because they found out it was a medical condition causing her issues.
Okay.
What was it, a thyroid issue? I
Yeah.
forget what they called it.
Mm-hmm. Thyroid, they had some kind of fancy doctor name for it, but all I heard was thyroid. I was like, thyroid, I know what that is. I know that word.
And then I think Maddie kind of panicked when she saw the missing signs. Like, I thought that would make, so like for me, if it was me, I feel like that would make me feel better. Like, okay, he's not mad at me. Like, he's actually looking for me. Someone actually cares. But she seemed to spiral a little bit.
And, you know, I wonder if maybe she was just ashamed of the place that she, like the headspace that she was in. And she was afraid that Chim would see her that way.
Yeah.
Not
And
that
also
she
could
did-
be that Kira was with her at the time and she
Not
knew
that-
that she hadn't been completely honest with her.
Oh yeah, because she'd been telling Kira that you know, he probably hates me. He was
Mhm.
probably pissed at me. He hates me. It's like, oh, whoops, never mind. He doesn't hate me.
And the other thing is too, I mean, before Chim, she was in a very abusive relationship. And I think that messes with you too. Like, even though she knows that Chim's a good dude and like he would never do any of that stuff that I don't remember what his name is did, but in the back of her head, she might be like, well, what's gonna happen when I get home, type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, that abuse sticks with you for a long time. So did anyone else, so speaking of the poster that Chim put up in the hospital, oh my gosh, the only thing more sad than Maddie's struggle was watching Chim try to track down Maddie. I was like, oh my gosh, the poor guy is just waiting outside that clinic all day, every day. That's the impression I got. I got the impression that he and G were just parked outside that clinic every single day, like all day. It's like, that's a really exhausting day.
Yeah.
Sitting
That was
out.
really sad.
He was very desperate to find her, which I think, I don't know, I think in a way Maddie needed that because of her past and stuff. Like, she sees that someone actually cares about her and is in it for the long haul, but I'm sure it was exhausting for Chim. I mean, especially, it seemed like G wasn't sleeping that good, and, you know, a new city, new place, because they traveled a far way, so I'm sure that there's a time difference, which probably affects babies too. And
how long was Chim in Boston looking for Maddie? Like, how long
I
had
was
it
wondering
been
that
since
too.
he like set foot in Boston?
Because I mean, he already had a volunteer position there.
He had a volunteer.
So he had to have been there a while, right?
And yeah, and he was staying at his friend's place, his mentor.
Yeah.
I think.
I think it was.
But I couldn't really get any kind of hint as to how long he'd been in Boston.
yeah, the only like time frame kind of thing that you could kind of get is that he told him that at the beginning, he told him that the only problem with him being in that like little apartment thing is he couldn't be there in the summer for like baseball or whatever sport he wanted to watch. And then they met each other at the St. Patrick's Day parade. So it was sometime in March that he found her, but we don't know when he actually got there.
Mm-mm. Yeah, because I mean, they just kept showing him multiple days sitting outside the clinic. I mean, he could have been doing that every day for like 4 months. We'd have no idea.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Was he doing that every day for 4 months, or was it more just like, you know, maybe 4 to 6 weeks? Because 4 months, I mean, that makes me really, really sad.
Yeah.
Well, he went there when Buck heard the bell, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a pretty gutsy move to go all the way to Boston based on that hunch, because I was actually pretty sure back when, you know, before the break, I was pretty certain that, it was a mislead, that she wouldn't actually be there. But this is TV, so it all worked out.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Like, how many church bells are there around that you could hear? Like, how does he know that that's the church
Right?
bell that it
Yeah.
is?
Yeah, did I miss a detail? Because how did Buck figure out that she's in Boston just based on that church bell? Because that sounds like a very generic bell.
It did. It did to me.
It did to me too. The only thing that may have made him think of it is it sounded like Maddie did like her residency there, like she was living there for a while. So maybe he recognized it from when she was living there, because they've been close for a while. But still, a church bell is a dang church bell. Like, it's not like it was like a special like song, or you know what I mean? Like, I could understand it if it was like a certain song that played, or I don't know, like even something that would like make it stand out, but it was just a church bell. I don't understand how he knew that that's what it was.
Maybe the hospital was near a church or something, and he remembered that from her residency, and whatnot. But still, I mean, that's a really big jump.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I
It
actually
was
thought
far-fetched.
Buck was misleading Chim on purpose at first. Like maybe he actually knew full well like where she was, and he was just like, okay, dude, just get away from us and go to Boston.
I mean, I'm glad Chim took the chance.
Oh yeah,
'Cause
definitely.
I think it would have been quite a while before she came back on her own without running into him there.
I wonder if she would have been willing to come back on her own
If she
without.
would, it would be a long while, because I don't think until she actually saw her daughter in person that it really clicked in her mind that what she was doing was not the right choice anymore for her. She was better and she could trust herself with her daughter.
Yeah, I think it took seeing him to like really trigger that.
Yep. Definitely.
But I absolutely love them as a couple. I mean, to me, they're like a power couple. I really hope that they can come back from this and they'll be okay.
I really like their talk on the bench, I think it was, when they, they're like, no more lies, no more secrets, full honesty from here on out. I like that.
I have high hopes for them as a couple because Chim was a rock star. Like he wasn't pushing her at all. Like he wasn't even saying, okay, you're packing up, you're coming home with me. I need an explanation. He seemed willing to give her space if that's really what she wanted. So hopefully they're going to get through it and come out stronger on the end.
I
Which
think so.
I'm sure that was hard for him to, push that down, because I'm sure, I mean, I know if it was me, I'd want to be like, listen, this is what you're doing and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I'm sure it was hard for him to, let her have the reins and be like, well, I mean, he might have thought too that if he was too forceful with her, he might push her away.
Mm-hmm.
And he even physically stayed away for a little bit. Like he sat outside and waited for her to come out. Like he knew that she was in there and he just sat outside and waited for her to come out. I was like, it must have taken a lot for him to just sit and wait for her to come to him.
Yeah, I mean, all that waiting between, you figure from the start when he's sitting at the clinic, and well, even before he even went to Boston, he didn't know where she was or anything, and then waiting to figure out where she was. Then he made the trip to Boston, which from LA is like across the country, and then trying to figure out where she was. Then when he got the tip about the women's clinic, sitting out front of the women's clinic for who knows how long. Like, it was a lot of waiting on his part, which I'm sure was frustrating.
But also, I'm sure a part of him was just like, okay, well, I know exactly where she is now. And I've seen her and she's okay. So I can sit here and wait for her. I can do that. I don't like to wait, so I wouldn't be able to do that, but good for him.
at that point, like, what's another hour or whatever, however long it was.
I really liked the guy with the axe in his head at the St. Patrick's Day thing. That was a neat case.
I
He
saw
had
that.
him
like,
sitting
this-
up doing impressions on his chest. I'm like, how is that working?
Yeah, I was like, well, of course this happens at a St. Patrick's Day parade. This seems typical. I was so stressed out during
Same.
that whole parade thing because like he was here. She literally
I
looked
know.
across the street and there Tim was, but she didn't see him. I'm like,
Mhm.
they need to stop this. I'm so stressed out.
You know, it was like that with Outer Banks when John B and Sarah and the other ones were there, and like they kept like just missing each other, and like the whole time I'm like, how don't you see each other type of thing.
And
It,
at
like,
one point you just want to yell, you stay put. They're gonna
Yeah.
come find
it literally, like, I don't know, like that keeps me on the edge of the seat like more than what like horror movies and stuff does. I don't know, like I guess I'm weird, but
you. No,
it's just like the fact that they kept like missing each other.
and the writers did that on purpose to build it all up. But I was like, this is just cruel. They need to stop this.
I like the look on both their faces when they did finally see each other.
Like they saw each other and then they jumped right back into the guy with an axe in his head.
And poor Kira with her she relapsed hard. Like it was bad. It wasn't just like one or two drinks. She was completely gone. And she was aspirating.
She seemed like she was gonna be, focusing on getting her son back and getting herself clean and healthy in the end. So
Mhm.
hopefully she will.
It was funny though, because when Maddie called the paramedics, I was like, okay, this has to be when they all meet up. Like it has to be. Like if it wasn't, I would have been so mad.
Yes,
And
I
in
would
the
have.
end, when she called her mama,
I
'cause
was
she
like,
remembered her.
that is so perfect.
Yeah, Maddie sang her the song that she used to sing to her when she was born, and she actually remembered it and called her mama. That was the sweetest moment. I started crying, of course. And then Maddie decided it's time to go home. I'm curious to see what it's going to be like when they get back home.
Yeah,
I mean,
really
Bobby
hope
said that Chim had his job, right?
Yeah,
They did also hire, what's his name? Monday. What the frick's his name?
Jonah.
Jonah, that's it. I can only think of Monday now.
And they hired that girl too, Lady
Yeah,
Buck.
Lucy. Ladybug.
well, maybe they're about
like
to
that.
get rid of. Maybe now they're about to get rid of Monday.
Maybe.
Jim. Shoot, I forgot. What was his name? You just told me.
Jonah.
Jonah. Oh my God.
But see, my thing is, I don't know. I mean, they're firefighters. Maybe they can have 2 extra people on or 1 extra person on or whatever.
The more the merrier.
We'll see. I did like the suicide prevention information that they left at the end of the episode. I always like those when they do that.
Yeah.
The suicide prevention lifeline.org and 1-800-273-8255. 24/7 help for anybody that needs it.
Free and confidential.
Suicide is not the answer, guys.
Never is. In next week's episode, well, not next week. It's not back for 2 weeks. April
Sad.
11th. I know. Why? I don't know. I guess Easter holiday is why they're taking a break, I guess. Well, I don't know why they need 2 weeks for it.
Easter's not until the middle of April. It's not even then.
Yeah, it's
Right?
not until Easter's not until the next week.
Why are they taking a 2-week break? No idea. Fearophobia is what the next
Ooh.
week's episode is. It looks pretty interesting. Like it looks like it's playing on a lot of major fears that people usually have. There was May. She was trapped in the building. The dispatch building is on fire for some reason. So
That's-
that looks, terrifying.
That's scary. I wonder how that works with the dispatch being on fire.
And oh my gosh, the guy that's covered in spiders, wrapped in spider webs. Ew.
No.
I
I
yeah.
might be skipping that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to skip that too because I have a huge fear of spiders. Like I'm terrified of them.
Yes, me too.
So it'll be an interesting episode at least. I was going to say fun, but not
Well,
really.
We have different ideas of fun, Eve.
Jeanette or
Being
someone will have to
covered
be
in
on.
spiders is not my idea of fun. Maybe
It'll be
it's yours.
It'll be interesting.
Jeanette or
For
someone will
whoever
have to be on that can watch that part because none of us are gonna be doing it,
She doesn't have a fear of spiders. It's just birds she's afraid of.
which I think is hilarious.
So that was about all of Lone Star. Yeah, no, that was about all of 911. See, now I'm doing it. Now we can talk about Lone Star. This was a interesting episode.
A lot went on.
Yeah, we got a little bit of clarity on some people in this episode too. We were a little split here on Sadie, so some of us were right, some of us were wrong.
Jeanette
It's not
and
important who's
were right. It's very important to know who was right, and it was Eve and Jeanette who were absolutely right. I even texted Jeanette in the group chat. I said, let's just say the two of us were finally right about something. And she said, Sadie, I knew it.
You knew right away exactly what you were talking about. I did not see it coming at all. So yeah, this was a shocking episode to me.
I'm really hoping that this is the end of like all of the like winter storm like follow-up stuff.
I wonder
She
if,
was in the winter storm once. I forgot about that.
I wonder if they were like, this winter storm just left a bad taste in everyone's mouths. We need to do one final thing to get rid of it forever.
I hope it's done forever.
I
But
really liked the opening scene with Catherine and Owen. When they were sitting with the detective, listing off everyone that Owen's punched recently. That was really funny.
And he was like, you punched that guy? Oh no, it was a different guy. Wait, you punched a different guy?
They were
Guys,
just listing off everybody. Deputy
Guys,
chief, police sergeant, random guy at a bar.
I don't think I've ever even seen anyone get punched in like real life.
Owen needs to be in Miss Marin's kindergarten class and learn to keep his hands to himself because he's having issues.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit him down and say, okay, listen here, mister. This is not how we solve problems. In real life, you go to jail.
I don't know how he's been like skating through all of this, to be honest.
He's very charming.
And
With
handsome.
He can charm anyone.
But he hit a cop at one point.
Well, I didn't like that cop, so.
Yeah, we don't like the people that he hits, so it's okay, right?
The people that he hits are really mean people, so it's okay. But only because it's TV.
Right. How did Roy get out of prison?
Apparently
like the judge
he's
just let him go.
Too. I think he
That
must
was the
know
shock.
somebody on the inside. He has to.
He has to, because why would they let someone like that walk?
And then Marjan, like, she was cracking me up with he's a murderous murderer. And I was like sitting there like laughing, like dying laughing. Like,
it was so funny because I was like, wow, Marjan, that's quite a vocabulary you got there.
But then, okay, so this is Shelby's soft side coming out. Then I felt bad for him because he wasn't even the one that was causing all the issues.
But I mean, he's still not a good guy.
And he's still a murderer.
Yeah, he's still a murderous.
He did murder the guy, to be fair.
Murderous murderer.
I mean, yes, he did not leave the pig in Owen's bed, but he did kill a guy in cold blood in front of Marjan. So, to be fair, he is still a murderous murderer.
Yeah, but like they were seeking him, like he's been out of jail for a month and they started seeking him out even though he wasn't doing anything to them. Like I know that they thought that he was, but it seemed like he was trying to get his life together, or at least playing off that he was trying to get his life together.
Yeah, maybe
You know,
making it look like he was trying to get his life together. He doesn't seem to care about anybody but himself, honestly.
no, but he got the karma.
Oh, yeah, he did.
I mean, the car exploding, and I think being burned like that is probably like the worst.
Yeah, that's gonna stick with you, forever. I loved the whole grocery store scene with Marjan and Paul. Poor Paul, he was just like, God, someone make her stop.
He's just standing there like, so this is happening. Okay.
I'm not
then-
with this woman.
And then Owen, he's like, what part of leave him alone don't you understand?
Apparently all of it.
Yeah, I would wager to say she didn't understand any of that.
She didn't seem too happy with his flyers that he wanted to put up around the station with Roy's face on it.
Hey, he'd already gotten in big trouble with Carlos's dad over punching everyone in town. So, I mean, he had good reason to just stick to flyers.
This is true.
What about Carlos and TK's detective work here? Like, I feel like he should be upgraded to detective. Like, between what he did for Athena and now this, like, I'm wondering if it's like foreshadowing a little bit.
He seems like he's following in his father's footsteps a little bit there with the investigation work. He's really good at it too.
Yeah, he seems to be more into the whole detective work.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he'd be really good at it. He is really good at it.
He is good at it. I mean, he saw Sadie on that film he was watching right away.
Mm-hmm.
I love that scene. I was waiting for something to happen.
I knew that she drugged TK. I could tell.
You could tell
now,
something was wrong.
Yeah. Now with Carlos, it was a little bit more subtle, but like with TK, I could tell when he said that the stuff was really spicy, and like I knew that it was a place that they probably had gotten before. This girl put something in his food. But then when Marjan, like, she came to the door, and I was surprised, especially when she like stabbed Marjan in the shoulder. And Marjan just like kept it rocking. Like, what?
Yeah, I was wondering what she was gonna do, because as soon as Marjan kept going and walking through the house, I'm like, okay, Sadie just disappeared. Where did she go?
Yeah, I got really nervous.
Ah.
You okay?
Yeah, her knife. It was like I didn't see it coming until she was just like knife in the shoulder, and then you saw Marjan.
Yeah, and then she was like, "Oh hell no!" Yanked it out. I was like, "Marjan is a badass, and I want to be her when I grow up."
She I don't know, like I wasn't sure about her at first, like at the very like beginning of like the whole entire series, but I love her. Like, she is amazing. Between the ice episodes where she like snuck up and she had her scarf in the car, like trying to make the car blow up, and she has a lot of like good ideas. And then the fact that she just pulled a knife out of her back and like pretty much saved TK and Carlos.
I was so nervous because like she walked into the apartment. I was like, why is she allowing her to walk into the apartment? I know, because something really, really bad's about to happen. But she just yanked it right out. I was like, that's a knife, like a literal knife, like in your back, and you just took it out.
And then poor TK, he's struggling so hard with his sobriety and stuff, and now he's back to day one, and it's not even his fault. It's a psycho.
That made me so mad. I was like, you set TK back in his sobriety.
I think that made me madder than the fact that she actually like was the crazy person, to be honest.
Yeah. That was the most maddening thing she did, was setting him back in his sobriety. And I mean, she literally stabbed Marjan in the back, but that's not the one thing I'm most mad about.
Yeah. And then so we found out that the cartel is the one that tried to set fire to that guy's car. At first, I thought that maybe that was her too, because she knew that that's where Owen and stuff was.
Yeah, I did too.
Then
I was like, why is she blowing up Roy? I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't like him either, but why are you blowing him up?
And then the fact that Owen saved him, I mean, I know that he's a firefighter and stuff, and like he probably feels obligated, but come on, dude. Like, let him die.
Yeah, I probably would have just left him there.
I know I would have.
Okay, good. I don't feel so bad saying that then.
Yeah, I would have. It's like, oh no, too bad.
Oh darn! I have a restraining order. I can't get that close to you.
Like, oh,
Sorry.
Restraining order. Too bad. So sad. Bye.
Oh yeah, Roy showing up to the art show as soon as Owen said, "If you see him, call the police." What are you doing? Calling the police. He's behind you. Well then, that was quick.
He followed them there, right? That wasn't just a coincidence.
Mhm.
Because I was
followed.
struggling. Okay, so maybe this is me being dumb, but I was struggling because they were like, so he was leaving them alone at first, then they were seeking him out, but then he was kind of seeking them out. So like I was kind of like getting confused as to who was doing what at what point, if that makes sense.
That was his retaliation to Marjan showing up and getting him fired from his grocery store security job.
So like him showing up at the paint gallery or whatever was his revenge, kind of.
Yeah.
Kinda
And it was
like-
lucky for Sadie that he did, because she was pinning that on the fire that she started on him.
She is crazy pants.
She did a lot of crazy things. Like she went from 0 to certifiably insane in like one episode. I was like, whoa. Like no,
I don't even
just straight into the crazy.
right? Like, and I don't even get why, because like she didn't even seem all that interested in Owen. Is it just me? Did I miss something? Because she seems like so obsessed that this is fate, that they're meant to be together at the end of this episode, that she went through all the crazy. But yet just a couple weeks ago, she didn't even seem to like bat an eye at him.
Yeah, she's the one that had the cabin up the snowstorm ones, right? And I think the other person.
Yeah, his
Yeah,
neighbor. I mean, they flirted a little, but other than that,
They
nothing
seem very
major.
much friend zoned.
Yes. I guess just the fact that he found Catherine sent her over the edge.
That's still crazy pants though.
Over the edge. That's a bit of a understatement.
But like, because like she kept saying, I knew he'd come for me. I knew he'd come for me. So like, I don't know if like she has this superhero complex turn on type of thing, because he's like a firefighter, like superhero complex type of thing. Like she's turned on by that, or what her problem was. But like she, like the fact that she kept coming back to the fact that she thought that he would come back for her, that's what kind of made me think that maybe that's what got her rocks off, basically.
She
Which
was
is
just all
weird.
kinds of crazy. I don't think there's any thought process, any real thought process in there.
And
I mean,
so
there
Yeah,
was,
and
there was, as far as crazy Sadie is concerned, but
and my thing is too, she had drugged TK and Carlos. She started drugging TK and Carlos before they even found out that she was the one that started the fire. So she had to have known that they were going to find something on that tape or whatever.
yeah, she knew Carlos was going to find it. She was just getting ahead of the game a little before
I
he
don't-
had a chance to tell Owen.
I don't know if it's just because Carlos, was drugged, but I loved the way that he was talking to her. Like he knew that she was crazy and he was like talking to her like a misbehaving child. Like, but Sadie, you had to know that you would have gotten hurt too.
I think they were on to her, but they had to have the proof.
Mhm.
I don't think that Owen knew. I think that he was completely in the dark, but I think that Carlos and TK had a little bit of an inkling. Because I mean, even for her to come and stay with them, like she's not that close to them. She's not close to them at all. She's not that close to Owen. And for her to just take up the offer for them to live with her, and then the fact that Catherine was there, like that kind of put her, like, I don't know if you guys saw her face or not, but like her face when she saw Catherine there too, she was like, who is this?
Mhm. And then the ending of Sadie after they arrested her, and then
Oh
they
my-
said they found her ex-husband's severed head in her freezer. She's a lot
everything-
crazier than I thought.
Because everything else that she did leading up to that point wasn't crazy enough. They had to throw
Right.
the severed head in there.
If I
I
felt
felt
bad for
really-
her.
Exactly. I felt so bad for Nancy this week. She got a bad story this week.
Yeah, but I kind of like seeing more of her too, because she's kind of been like a sideline character. So seeing more of her, but she like royally messed up. Like,
She did.
I can totally see why that patient ended up suing her, because didn't she admit that she saw the bracelet and she did
Yeah.
CPR anyway?
yeah.
Yeah, when she said that, I was like, Nancy, shut your mouth.
Yeah, she should have just kept that to herself, because no
I
one
mean,
would
she
have known any
could have
different.
gotten away with it because, this sister called, and I do agree the sister should have told them that because she knew. Nancy saw it. I was honestly not on her side this week. I mean, I liked seeing more of her, and I was really sad that she was going to be fired and never rehired again. However, I was not on her side, and I do think she should have been reprimanded for it.
When they said that she was suing the state, she was suing the city for $1, the state for $1, and then Nancy like had to lose her job. When they said it was only for $1, I spit my drink out, like literally all over the table, because I really didn't think that it was going to be like just for $1, like, because obviously she was suffering. I mean, you could tell she was super, super sick.
Well, people who sue for $1 are the kinds of people who aren't looking for money. They're looking to create policy change.
Mhm.
So like I heard that, I was like, for $1, I was like, oh, okay, not bad. And then they're like, she wants Nancy fired forever. I'm like, no.
No, I don't like that.
No, never mind. I don't like that.
But Tommy totally went to bat for her. I mean, they had the little dinner party, if that's what you want to call it or whatever, and she defended her wholeheartedly, which I don't honestly like. I don't think that Nancy deserved to be fired per se, but I don't think that she deserved to be defended that way either. Like, I think that was her battle to fight. That's just my opinion.
She didn't deserve to go without any consequences at all.
There should have been like a suspension or probation or something.
That's what I was waiting for. I was expecting her to be like suspended or something, but
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like the patient, the woman that was suing her, but I do see where she was coming from with the lawsuit because,
that's not okay.
No, it's not.
People have DNRs for a reason.
Yeah, it should be their choice, and she doesn't have the right to take that choice away from them.
And you could tell she had put a lot of thought into the fact that she had the DNR too. I mean, like I said, she was quite obviously suffering. Her sister was just kind of being selfish, and I think that Nancy, it seemed, now you can correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Nancy have like a personal thing that she connected to with it, and that's why she did what she did? It like reminded her of her sister or something.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that part, but
so I mean, maybe we'll learn more about Nancy's past too. Maybe Nancy had a sister that went through this, or something had to have happened if that triggered her that way. Because I mean, as an ambulance person, you can't be a zombie, but you kind of have to put your emotions aside a little bit. And the fact, I mean, Nancy's always been so composed and stuff, and she's always been like a great worker. So the fact that this got to her, it had to have been something big.
Yeah. I hope she, learns from this not to do that again.
Hey, speaking of Nancy, did they completely drop the whole Mateo thing? Because I thought that was going somewhere.
Right? Like, I'm mad that they even gave us that little tease of a handhold and a look between them and then nothing.
Make better choices, writers. Come on.
Exactly. If you need some help, just call us. That's what we're here for.
We've got great ideas that we know that you listen to.
Of course you do. Because it's Fandom Family Chats. Everybody listens to us.
And our producer's always right. So, I mean, how can you possibly go wrong?
You've never been more right on a podcast ever.
Suck up.
I don't like getting in trouble.
I'm over here talking about severed heads and dead bodies, and you're kissing Maureen's butt.
Someone has to make up for the severed heads and dead bodies.
I mean, she's not wrong.
Someone needs to balance out all the craziness happening here.
Well, you say they were twins. I guess I'm the evil one.
I am glad we got more Nancy this week, though. I'm hoping we get more of her continuing on, because
Yeah,
I liked having a major storyline focused on her.
we've been getting more and more of her this season even, so hopefully we continue to get more.
I'm really hoping that we do like a background story on her, because the one thing that I love about the OG 911 that Lone Star doesn't have so much is the backstories for people. And I kind of miss that, to be honest. Like, I like learning why they are the way that they are.
Yeah, I was thinking about that just at the beginning of the season. I was like, why haven't they done any origin stories for anyone on Lone Star? Because I mean, we saw with Grace and Judd.
And a little bit of
Yeah.
TK.
We saw their backstory. We did see a little bit of TK, but I'd love to see like Carlos's backstory and Tommy. I mean, we got a tiny bit of Tommy with
And
Judd.
Marjan. I mean, like, these people were in whole other fire stations in whole other states. They have they have to have a story behind it. I mean, I don't know.
Another idea for you guys. Come on.
We're
practically
just
spoon
pouring
feeding
this
it
stuff
to
out
you.
here for free.
Yeah, we're practically spoon feeding you all the answers. Just
We
you
really
can do
are.
it.
We won't see Lone Star again for 2 weeks as well. The preview was really short on this one, but it looks like it's a very time sensitive issue. Let me try English this time. They talk about it being a combustible situation, which sounds, scary.
Lots of different things. Yeah. Literal or
Yeah, I saw there was like a woman trapped in a car, and I just heard Owen screaming that it was combustible and they need to get her out very quickly.
What's
It looks
combustible
interesting.
mean? That it can blow up? Okay.
See, it was such a quick preview. I don't even remember the preview.
I know, it literally was like a 10-second preview, and I'm like,
yeah, I saw.
Hold on, I need to watch this 4 more times just so I have something to talk about.
All right, guys. So we have thoroughly discussed both 911 shows. I think we haven't missed anything. Don't forget to check out our Facebook group. It's 911 -911 Family Fan Club. Join the conversation there. We have fun games and things every day. Next week we have Grey's Anatomy and Station 19, and also The Resident and This Is Us. So stay tuned for them as well. Bye.
Bye.
So if you guys want to find us on Facebook, all you have to do is search in Facebook for Family Fan Club. All 15, yeah, I said 15 of our groups are going to pop up for you. You want a specific group, you can always go check out our podcast pages. We will have our groups listed in there. And you can find us on any of our social media, which is Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, as Fandom Family Chats. And we are constantly trying to get you fun content. Jeanette is our TikTok wizard, trying to get you fun videos there. Usually has a lot of dudes on there, so there's that for you. We have our Twitter and Instagram is not as active as we'd like it to be, and we're working on that, but still, if you have any questions for us, if you want to get involved with what we're doing, if you want to know more about what we do, or maybe some interviews we have coming down the pike, you can hit us up on any of those resources, or you can email us at familyfanclub2021@gmail.com. We check that almost religiously, so reach out to us there and we'll get back to you. Watch out for our website coming soon. We're going to have some merch available for you if you'd like to wear some of our show merchandise for family fan clubs and Fandom Family Chats, as well as we're going to make some FFC merch for some of the shows we're on, like Teen Wolf or Vampire Diaries. We're going to have some fun things for you there. So watch out for that. Keep an eye out for that. And
if you are able to, look at our YouTube page, subscribe to that, and keep an eye on our Facebook page. We have Fandom Family Chats. We're going to be making some announcements here in the near future about a big, huge event we've got coming down the pike in June of 2023. So, watch out for that. Get ready to listen to some crazy stuff next week again, and we'll see you real soon.